Take a guess. Did this animation take 2 hours, 5 hours, maybe a day? Well, it only took 10 minutes. What? Take all of these techniques and fundamentals, and it turns into this. Pretty cool. So the question is, how? What are the basics? The majority of animators, even industry people, don't know the basics, and it easily shows. This is so apparent nowadays because most animators are self-taught, but the best thing about it is you determine your pace with how effective you take your learning. So what are this? How can we make the process of animating as effective as possible? Good question. So I'm going to go over the best techniques, methods, the best principles and processes to really maximize your learning in animation. And there's no better way to teach this by going through this whole catalog I compacted the most important things you need to know about animation into one place: the full pipeline, how each stage works, and how to actually use it effectively. So starting with doing the
Straight ahead and post to post.
hybrid approach, and then utilizing breakdown frames to make extremes more organic, which just really makes your cuts look so good, and most people don't know this. I'm gonna teach you guys. So I'm gonna make an animation to demonstrate this. So let's go. Okay, I'm making the keyframes. Alright, for this approach, I'm doing a kind of hybrid from post to post and straight ahead, and I'm gonna utilize both. So key pose here, bump, he pops out. Okay, so firstly, I started with the key drawings. So this will be considered pose to pose, right? Yeah, it is, but this is the method that put me on a whole nother level. So basically, I did no timing charts on this, but what I did is straight ahead based on the initial keyframe to the next. This is the hybrid method, which captures the best of both worlds that Richard Williams taught. He'd often say that pure straight ahead is too risky for storytelling, and pure post to post can feel stiff. So the sweet spot is mixing both. That's what I did in one of my first full body animations ever that I animated for this collab. And that gave me such a big boost in confidence because of how well it turned out. Okay, so put this here. Oh my god, bruh. The head. Okay, quick pause. What the heck is a breakdown frame? Think of it like this. You got your main poses, right? The keyframes. Those are the big story moments, but breakdowns? It's the frame that tells how one pose is going to become the next, you know? There's two ways to do it. You can just linearly do it. It works. It's very robotic, but it works. And you have breakdown frames. So basically, your breakdowns are the GPS that's saying, turn right here, turn left here, turn right again. So that's why many animators, even the really good ones, don't have a really good understanding of this. So that's why they work. Turns out to look very robotic, very passionless. Breakdowns adds that extra element. But this... Okay, so I'm gonna do some straight aheading to figure out how he would fall. You know, you can do so many things if you can key really well. You see that? Oh my, wow. And arcs too, bro. You see the arcs on this? It's a spiral arc. Yeah, I'm using mapping lines, you see? Doesn't make me think much, and I'm getting a lot of things done. So this is fully straight ahead. This is straight ahead, bro. Okay, I'll leave it at that. Alright, so to go over the process, started with the key poses, did straight aheads for in-betweens, then added breakdowns to make the extremes more organic while adjusting the timing as I go about the animation. Even added a whole new gesture using straights and mapping lines, which made adding secondary action and other principles really simple, and did the tie downs to clean it up and make sure it's consistent and ready for cleanup. This is a criminally underlooked study method in animation. You can look KNBM and he explains everything. Just look at this animation that he made on stream. Whoa!
Basically, I can get away with a lot of inconsistency and I can kind of rush the drawings quite a lot. The character design is quite simple. See one of the frames I've been drawing and I use that as a guideline. But yeah, it's pretty much the character design.
You can see him execute cleanup methods, explain his choices, and not only that, but he literally goes into the most clever ways to use Clip Studio Paint. He explains every shortcut, every macros, organizing frames, and really niche terms like layer stacking and animation folders, which only a handful of animators know. So I inserted some of his live streams here, how to set Clip Studio Paint, him cleaning up his stuff, expeditiously organized here. You also have Dozu, I personally consider the best layout animator, and Aaron Blaze. One example I've been showing was on a live stream of his. I'll scoot it here in Milanote so that
you are able to see his lives.
Another important thing that you'll do in animation a lot are head turns. When someone does a proper head turn, it really signifies to the viewers that, damn, this guy has good knowledge in forms, huh? It's a technique that can instantly elevate the appeal of any cuts. And not just that, it just makes animating easier since head turns are a big part of it. So coming back to this Milanote catalog that I made, there's this head turn animation here that you can just swipe according to the angle that you want to study. Also, the best resources to study for this, you can look at Taco's works, which you can also find here in Milanote. He does a really great job dissecting the forms in different angles in just basic practical application of shape theories. Using landmarks is one of the best things to simplify this. Landmarks are those reliable points of the face and body that help you lock down the structure fast without running in details. On the face, for example, the brow ridge, the nose bridge, the mouth, the chin, and even the side of the jaw become anchors. Instead of thinking, I'm gonna draw every detail in the head, I will go insane. You just have to connect these landmarks. They give you a map. The brow ridge tells you where the eyes will sit. The nose and the nose bridge guide the center line. The mouth and chin can give balance. When you go in with the mouth first, then you can nail in dialogue scenes. And the jawline separates the front of your face and the cranium. So suddenly, the head isn't this confusing sphere anymore. It's just a set of clear checkpoints you have to move around in perspective. Here's an extreme example for a work that I did. I literally just used the mouth as a landmark to map the keyframes. I use this approach because it is quite great for dialogue scenes. And then I just block it out. And the flow feels good. I was able to do this from super rough layouts to coloring in just 3 days. What? Absorbed, replicate, references. Many artists, including my old self, felt guilty when using references, but the point is to keep using references to strengthen your fundamentals to the point that your fundamentals are so good you don't need them anymore, so that you are capable of making fundamentally rich animations yourself. Alright, another thing, you may hear the dogs barking at the background, but I'll continue. So a really paradigm shifting thing that you can do is to make something
so good
that it changes your identity as an animator. I remember making a really good animation, and that gave me such a big boost in confidence. That was the moment that made me feel like a real animator. Just that dopamine hit reinforced my brain to make animation a habit because it made it attractive. I think I have to pat myself in the back for avoiding this mistake. Stop it. Stop doing that, especially if you're just picking things up. Make something that you can finish in a week's time frame or even just a day, because that forces you to make effective compromises, so you'll improve so much faster this way. And you make this better by joining collaborations or challenges because you have proper feedback. So you'll really be driven to see what you can pull off in a limited time frame.
Mommy, a girl behind you.
Collabs are where I met the best people ever, bruh. I did this a lot, and I improved so much each time that I've joined. So collabs are fun, stressful, makes you miss your dad's birthday, and it's just all the things that can skyrocket your progress as an animator. I also want to add that it just makes animation very enjoyable. It sets goals for you to obtain. You do it with the homies or the girlies, and I think enjoying animation is a learned skill, and doing collabs can help a lot with that. And the same kind of industry people that I did the collab with, they teach me a lot of stuff and they give me feedback. And it's just the best way to learn ever. And I made a really big breakthrough when I joined this tournament. I begged my friend,
Joy, let me join, please. I will do my best.
because the tournament is full of the best animators ever. And I'm just a stupid stick figure animator that decided to do full body animations. So I joined the tournament. I did my best. They were impressed.
Yeah.
Yo! Oh,
Nice. Oh shit.
oh, the choreography! Shit.
This is so sick, dude.
I think he just killed that guy.
And we formed a bond. And we did more collabs together, and now we just do works. There's an abundance of works upon us. You know, it just gets better each time you work with them. So yeah, do collabs and do collabs and do collabs. So another thing, this technique helped me a lot. But when I was still transitioning from doing stick figure animes to full body, my friend who was in the industry at the time told me, "Yo, flip through your frames, buddy." I did it, and oh my lord, bruh, animation quality skyrocketed. And that's because flipping through frames makes you feel the motion. This will build your intuition so much, and it will help you pay more attention with the arcs, the movements, the motions, and everything by just simply flipping through your frames instead of onion skins. Alright, I'm gonna give some context to make my point much more. So growing up, I really liked math. I really liked physics. I liked when things click. In animation, you know, what's the physics aspect of animation? The flow, the timing. So that gave me a huge advantage. So I became really obsessed with making timings flow perfectly. The forms accurate and have perfect appeal. Like how I figured out blood behaves like a paint because of its higher density than water. And water behaves bouncier, just how weight and debris behaves, like how there's a fast-paced kind of fire and a slow-paced kind of fire, how smoke distinguishes itself in the air, and how wind influences it, like how the backlag in the run cycle folds itself into an arc. Discovering patterns like that has been really satisfying for me. So the mental reframing of thinking it about the animation process is a pretty big change that can help you improve much faster. So another thing, now I'm going to teach you some of the best principles, starting with the wave principle. I'm going to be totally honest. Every tutorial out there is so shallow and usually it's not even applicable. And I think it's because they miss the very essence of what the wave principle is for and who even invented it. So the Flying Panda made the best video on this. So I'm just gonna play some clips.
I like to think of it as a force moving through a subject and then changing its shape into a wavy looking shape. Like same thing, wave principle, all the way everywhere. Look at that. Wave principle everywhere. I'm going to draw all over my work. Then all I'm doing is I'm making sure that this drags behind.
Oh my god!
See how big this part moves and then how small this part moves, right?
So this is the best video on wave principles and I'm just gonna simply copy and pasting it here. There you go. Millionaire is actually insane. What? So, it's important to train your knowledge on details and simplification, especially art fundamentals like shape theory simultaneously, because artists can get away with really messy first passes because it's only one frame and they can do some tweakings they go along the way. But if you are an animator and you base your next frames on your first frame and you figured out that your first frame has mistakes, then that mistake is going to be passed around in your following frames. So it's gonna be a disaster. It's gonna be full of inconsistencies. So that's why drawing skills is so important. So to train your fundamentals, there are so many things that are being confused as fundamentals. You know this? This is not anatomy. This is already simplifying. You are not learning anatomy by doing this. So what you should do is learn anatomy and break it down into this. Shape and anatomy go hand in hand, but they're often mistaken for one another. And that's a big problem because you'll miss out on the other one entirely. You know, this is not anatomy. You will become great at doing this after you learn your anatomy because you know that these are the pecs, those are the shoulder line, these are the I forgot, but it's the anatomy, the abdomen is here, the pelvis line is here, and you can do simplifications like that after you've done your anatomy. So these are two concepts. The anatomy is more of a foundation thing. That's really important when you're making those, you know, and shape is to wrap everything up to become appealing. Really important for an animator in my opinion. It makes my keyframing process super faster because I don't have to pull up references. It's subconscious. I just lay it there, and if I want to do anything dynamic, then I have the drawing skills to back it up. So yeah, drawing skills are really important in that matter, and these are two different things that you study. Alright, so I made this whole catalog in Milanote. You know, you have animation teachers, you have the best animators to learn from, which is Gozu, the best, bro. I'm telling you guys, the best layout animator. Boom! Flash animators, bro. a literal gold mine for studies, you know? Yutaka Nakamura. Just look at the contrast. Pew! It's a really big gap in the space. You know, Hari animation. You know, he made this in like freaking 2 minutes. Now, it's probably around 3 hours or something. Like, he's just that goated. You know, you can study animations here. You know, this Maki Zenin cut that looks super cool. Like, you know, pose, break that frame, follow through. Really cool animations, bro. I don't know what this is, bro. It's good pose to pose, alright? You know, even this, like, you can see the arcs, right? It's full of arcs. This is full of arcs, bro. See that? So this is that guy. This is the guy. This is the freaking guy who animated for Riot's music videos. Yeah, Yutaka Nakamura, he invented impact frames. That's all you need to know. Yanbiam, he's a really effective animator. Super effective. Cynics, to study your drawing fundamentals. Taco, the best, a freaking best simplifier of anatomy and shapes. You know, if you want to really maximize your knowledge on making appealing forms, then Taco is your guy. DB Shoy, self-explanatory, Excel art tips. He points out mistakes. Simplified anatomy, you can like put a bunch of stuff in here. Anatomy quick tips. This is a series. This is a really fun series, by the way. I remember watching this when I started drawing seriously. So, right, there's sections here, animation teachers, you can go in here. Roadside, you can tune into his streams. Like this stream, for example, that he did, which he literally made this animation. You know, it's freaking legendary, bro. It's super good. It's so good. Toniko Pagantoa is a must watch. He does the basics. Every basic ever. Stages in animation, you must study this. This is a must watch, by the way. You have to watch this. You know, you can see how he utilized like the key poses to do his straight aheads. You know, it's all here. It's all here, the process of masters. Animation software guide and Bahi JD. I put some Bahi JD animations here. He's the same guy who animated this cut that I'm showing at the screen. He animated the layouts for that cut. Yeah, really cool stuff. You can study all of this. Really cool. Really impressive. I even included my tutorials. All these references are in this catalog that I made, okay? Because look at this, bro. So that's pretty much the essential things you must learn to improve really quick in animation. Now, if you're serious about maximizing how you learn in animation, then just go through my Millionaire mood board that I made in the description. Subscribe.